Welcome to Cigars and Hip Hop. A show about hip hop during its golden age era.
Turn my mic on.
We'll also be discussing cigars and drinks that we enjoy during the discussion.
What's in your cup but you be smoking up.
And now, let's get on with the show.
And still maintain it.
Is Wu-Tang a group that you would consider?
I wouldn't. I think at some point they all kind of just creatively, they all learned creatively their own way, because back then they all relied on RZA to create the beats.
Mm-hmm.
Get everybody together. Like, he was like their manager. I think he was the manager.
He was the manager in the beginning.
But you had ODB, who, with his crazy self. You had, people who could wrangle everybody together, and then at some point they all, started to learn their own creativity through producing. And they were like, well, we don't really need RZA. And I'm not saying that RZA is like the key to everything, because, he has his faults as well. But lyrically or creatively, their first two albums are amazing. But then you also see the decline in their work, because they all were thinking of their own different, paths.
Mm-hmm.
Not to anything bad. It was just more of like, each one of them is a star on their own.
Exactly.
So it's like you can bring them together, but it was never something that I thought. It'll always be Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang will always be there, but it's just not something as a group I don't think could have ever sustained, like with just Wu-Tang, because they're all too powerful within their own rights.
Exactly. It's too many powerhouses in that group.
There's too many chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh.
Wu-Tang to me reminds me of just like a fucking 5-course meal.
Yeah.
To where you could take each one of those 5 courses and make a meal out of itself as an individual. And Wu-Tang is just, but if they all stay together and just continue, it never branched out, it would have burned out. It would have burned out.
At some point, it already.
At some point. So they had to branch off, and everybody had to do their own little thing. And then every once in a while, come back, get in that kitchen, make that masterpiece meal again, and then break off again and do your own little restaurants and things. It's working for them. But if they had stayed, it's just one and not branched, it wouldn't be. They wouldn't have the following that they do right now.
No, not at all.
I guess, come to think of it, I mean, you guys make a point, because in a rock band you have a lead singer and then everyone else is the music. Whereas in rap, you can have 5, 10 rappers, and they will eventually find their individual.
It's just
Look at NWA.
Yeah.
They all broke up, and out of all of them breaking up, well, only, Eazy-E died, but even though before he passed away, and I may get flack from this, everything, in my opinion, that Eazy did after there was no more NWA was trash. I'm going to be real. That's just my opinion again. But there was a few songs, I think, it was few that had a little catchy tune to it, but Eazy songs wasn't being written by Cube, and beats wasn't be done by Dre. MC Ren. After NWA, MC Ren came out with some more albums and whatsoever, but can anybody really say, oh yeah, that album was that was it. Mm-hmm. That was his best work. I can't.
Yeah.
And then there's DJ Yella.
I don't know what he did.
I don't think I think he was doing porn, wasn't he? I think he porn producing or something.
He does it now.
Yeah, but
I think he was like Dre's like second, like his like right hand man with the production work.
Okay.
But that's the thing is and you also have to add in DOC, which also wrote a lot of their music.
But he had a good excuse for not coming out with no more. His first album was the shit. But after them vocal cords was gone.
Yeah. Right. And that's the thing is MC Ren is very talented penman.
Oh, very talented.
His album, there's an album he came out with 95 or 96, I want to say, Ruthless for Life. I used when I was in high school, I used to listen to that shit every day. Like, that was a knock in my that was a rotation for me all the time. And I think that, to your point, I agree. Like, Eazy-E's work was all post NWA work, and it was always like, and it sounds too much like NWA. It doesn't sound. There was no new. He didn't have the style, right? He had an NWA style, and it was kind of like, I mean, Eazy-E's hardest song is "Real Motherfucking G's."
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and it's probably one of the top 3 diss songs ever.
Yeah.
You know, and it's.
Classic.
It's sad because I think Eazy. I mean, we all know based off the stories and the articles and everything you read and through history that Eazy wasn't a rapper. He was a hustler.
Right.
He was a hustler.
He was a hustler. Like he was slick talking, right?
Yeah, right.
So it was like, you know, when you're not necessarily in the game, you know, for the artistry of it, maybe. And maybe I can't say that definitely. Maybe that's not true, but maybe from the way I felt. Eazy was never really in it for the artistry of hip hop. He was always in it for the money of it.
Yeah, for the money, the business side of it, yeah.
And that's fine, you know. Maybe Eazy would have been a good if he didn't get raped, not
Physically, but in business sense.
In business sense,
Yeah.
if he wasn't, you know, raped by Jerry Heller, you know, maybe things would have maybe he would have become that like echelon of like hip hop, you know, like that Suge Knight or that Diddy style type of person, you know, because Ruthless Records, you know, they had Bone Thugs and Harmony, you know, so they were already that was already gonna blow up because you know Bone Thugs and Harmony is one of the greatest groups of all time.
Exactly.
So he had an eye for talent, and it just sucks. Like maybe if he hadn't had Jerry Heller like just destroy what he had with Ruthless, you know, we would have seen a bigger impact. Like,
It's a huge chance he still would have been around.
yeah, because he had. I mean, Eazy-E's footprint on hip hop is amazing. It could have been even bigger for the West Coast too, because he was already transcending like that West Coast life to East Coast, South, North, wherever, Europe, all that stuff. So
Yeah, I could remember it, man. I was in L.A. I was at the Slauson Swap Meet. And, I mean, Saturday was time for me to go to Slauson Swap Meet because that's when all the girls was there. It was just packed. Damn near like the San Jose flea market and shit. And they had a record store in there, and they was playing Boys in the Hood. And I can remember hearing it and just going crazy when I heard it. And I went there, bought the album, brought it back to Oakland, and everybody was just loving it. Loving the hell out of it. And then after that, a few years later, fucking Easy Does It came out. Where was I at when I heard that? Slauson Swap Meet again. And me and my brother was walking through, heard it, got the album, went back to Oakland. We were just playing it. It wasn't in Oakland yet. Everybody was just loving. Who is this? Who is this? Who is this? And it was so funny because we was describing it, and we was telling everybody who he was and all. And it was a popular paint shop in Oakland called Miko's. Miko's put candy paint on anything and everything. Who was driving out of Miko's in a fucking Aerostar minivan? Eazy-E. Man, you thought we just seen Jesus Christ. We was all happy and shit. You know, but his shit was really, it was just back then when he had Dre and Cube and all of them, he was the businessman of the group. But it was just something about that voice, that little raspy sound he had, and just, you know. And lyrically, Eazy wasn't the best rapper in the world, but it was just, he was a storyteller. You know, it was the stories that Cube wrote, and it was fascinating. It was great.
yeah.
It was great, but without the artistry of those, to that mixture of NWA, just separately,
Yeah, it was a
couldn't hold a
dynamic.
candle.
It was
Yeah.
a dynamic that they had. I don't think, you know, he had some other guys that came up with him, like Tim Dog and BG. Was it BG Knockout? I think. his
BG
name?
Knockout, yeah.
You know, there's some. You know, he tried to recreate something that basically just is once in a lifetime type of thing, you know, and it sucks for hip hop. It sucked because there was a lot of good music left on the table that will never get to. I mean, now obviously they've all worked together since, you know, his passing or whatever, you know, but it's still kind of like, it just kind of sucks because you're like, damn, it would be nice to hear a Eazy-E over a beat a beat by Dre again.
It's like it was like, to me, I always compare everything to food. It was like gumbo for those of us that know what that is. If you want a really good pot of gumbo, you get everything in it, the different sausages, whatever. But a lot of people like shrimp, a lot of people like crab. The crab was gone. It was still good with the shrimp and the sausage and all, but just them crab legs in it.
Missing that element.
Was missing that element.
Yeah.
It just wasn't the best mixture, and that's what that group was, man. It's sad, but shit happened.
We lived it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that I can say that I experienced it. From a live perspective of a fan, like, and I'm glad that my parents never censored me to that music.
Shit, I wish I could say that. I still remember getting fucking. How you get the keys taken from your own damn car? I can remember I was parked in front of my mom's house one morning, and my pops was leaving for work. I wasn't even living there. I was just visiting, and I blocked the driveway. He says, "Hey, I need your car. I need your keys. I need to move your car so I can get out of the driveway." Not thinking what I was listening to in the car. I tossed him my keys. He came back into the house with a look on his face and a white cassette tape that said 2 Live Crew.
No.
And it I can still remember it had a little logo on the side when he was able to call himself Luke Skywalker.
Right.
And it had the little logo on the side. Now I can just remember him with the tape and was like, "This trash," and he was just pulling out the tape. He said, "How could you listen to this trash?" And I was just like, damn. And it wasn't damn that my dad caught me listening to some shit. It was, damn, I gotta wait till 10 o'clock when the record store opens so I can go buy me another fucking another tape. But censorship was a bitch when it came to my family and music.
Yeah.
Just pops breaking. I mean, they went in generations, because my brother grew up with Bootsy Collins and the P-Funk and, George Clinton and all that. And my brother came home with an album. It was a Prince album, and it was called Controversy. And at the end of the song, Prince is saying like the Our Father prayer.
Right.
Pops heard that. I can remember him over the garbage can with a hammer. Hit the album right in the perfect spot, and the shit just shattered. And my brother was just looking at him with tears in his eyes. Pops did not. If music had words to it, couldn't listen to it in the house. But he could sit up and watch a fucking Clint Eastwood Outlaw Josie Wales with motherfucking 300 people getting shot in the head, but that was good.
That was always the weird thing about like when I thought about that stuff, like, because my household was completely opposite. Like, my mom grew up in LA, so she grew up with like all like the hard rock and everything like that. Like, my dad watched horror movies, so it was never really censorship for me. But it was like, when I thought about it, I was like, you have no problem going to watch an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie or a Sylvester Stallone movie where he kills 300, 400 people, but you're listening to an album that's dictating real life in inner city ghettos.
Exactly.
It offends you more. Like,
Yeah, that.
it was always weird to me. Like, that was always like the thing that I was just never like, it's just weird to me. It was always like just baffling in my eyes, but
I think that's what gave me more of a desire or a love for music.
right.
And it's always like that with children, teenagers. The stuff that you make a taboo toward them, they generate towards it. Like they say, don't play in the street, you're going to get hit by a car. As soon as your parents say that, you're like, fuck, I want to play in the street.
Let's go play some football.
Yeah, let's go play some tackle football in the middle of the street. I can still remember my father saying some shit about, playing on the freeway because you get hit by a car. He says, stupid, why would you play on the freeway? And me being a badass kid, I can remember late night running across 880.
Oh, fuck.
880, it's a busy ass highway. But just to see what it felt like, and I'm gonna tell you, the fucking adrenaline was a motherfucker. That shit was fun. And I'm not telling no kids, hopefully they ain't none listening, to run across the freeway. But man, that shit, whoo boy, just running, seeing them lights coming at you fast, it was fun.
We ran across this freeway.
Highway what?
When I was in right here, when I was in high
Yeah.
school, yeah, my buddy who lived right down the street, we'd have to hop the freeway to go to his house after school.
It's a shortcut.
That's like the sideshow shit.
Not the smartest thing.
I remember being young, and now that I'm older, I'm like, what are the fucking kids doing? But when I was young and I had a fucking fast car, I would take my homies for a ride, and I would fucking turn. I was going fast.
Yeah.
I would turn that wheel. That car would make a
Scratch the dirt.
fucking 360. And everybody was like, we're never getting on your car, man. You're fucking crazy.
You know, that was it.
I had friends like that too. Nope, not riding with your ass.
Hey,
I'll take the bus. Thank you very much.
see, I couldn't do it because I had already wrecked the family car, which was this old big ass orange Oldsmobile station wagon, and I had already wrecked it going down this street in Oakland called Allendale. So the driver's side door and the passenger side door was fucked. So Pops put some yellow doors on it. So now picture an orange station wagon with 2 lemon colored yellow doors. So if you see me flying down the street with a carload of fools, you already know. That's Chris. Before I could even get home, moms and pops or my grandmother would say something because somebody had seen me in that station wagon with them 2 yellow doors. And I couldn't say it wasn't me. Only car like that. Man, I missed that
They
car.
probably did that on purpose too.
Oh yeah, most definitely. One lady said she saw me speeding on the highway, and the thing about it, my parents would have believed her, but the time that she said I did this shit, I was in Los Angeles. Station wagon wouldn't even make it to Los Angeles. But man, it was fun times. Fun
Most of the
time.
days,
Man.
That's crazy shit, man. So what's up with Kamikaze? You were talking about Kamikaze. I actually did listen to it. This is shit. I don't know. You can't take shit away from Eminem. People love him and hate him, but the motherfucker can flow. I was really amazed how he can go slow, he can go fast, he can bounce off beats. And then I listened to what is it, Machine Gun Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
That this?
So I listened to both, and I was just really, I'm not a, like you said, I'm not a Machine Gun Kelly listener either, but I listened to this, and I mean, the guy knows how to rap.
Yeah.
He made some.
He's not Eminem for sure.
I mean, if you were to critique it on a rap battle scale, like I give it like a 5 or a 6. He had some really good jabs at him at times, and when I dissected the bars and everything, looking at M's, it impacted more. I feel like it was an 8, but I didn't feel like it was. I feel like he could have gone a lot farther when it came down to attacking MGK. Like the majority of his diss towards MGK was basically the fact that he shouldn't even have to respond to him based on the fact that he all the albums he has sold, all the millions he has made.
So he basically saying, I'm God, and you just somebody, just some little crumb down here.
Yeah, and
show some respect.
And so I'm trying to remember there's certain bars in there that this strike me as wow. That he said that. He said this to him, but people were taking it as a jab to Diddy. He was all like, "The day you make a hit is the day that Diddy admits that he put out the hit that got pot killed." Those are the bars. those are the last 2 bars.
At the end, he does say.
I mean, he does say.
I mean, the thing is, though, people gotta realize is that when he said that, he was saying that if you made a hit, that would be the day that Diddy admit. Like, he wasn't saying that like Diddy put out the hit that got pot killed, but he was implying that you will never make a hit because Diddy will never admit.
Right. But the controversy behind that is, right. So we're all left to think, well, does he mean that because he knows that Diddy did make a hit?
Well, there was an article. Well, the reason why it hits kind of harder is because there's an article, I think it was a year or two ago, that there was evidence that the Crips that killed Tupac were Crips that worked for Diddy when Diddy would hire Crips to be bodyguards for Biggie when he was out in L.A. So there was like an initial tie to that. They were saying that, like, I mean, there's a lot of speculation on it, like that, like when Diddy was out in L.A., he hired the Crips because Suge was a blood and all that stuff. So there was and I forgot what it wasn't like the '60s or anything like that. I forgot I forgot the crew that they were talking about. So that's why I was like, I think that's why Eminem brought it up.
I see.
But the thing is too is like what I feel bad for is I'm actually a fan of Machine Gun Kelly. Like, I actually listened to his work prior to all of this, and I feel bad for the kid because the kid actually has bars. Like, the kid can rap. The thing is, he's a product of Eminem. Like, his style is Eminem.
Okay.
Right.
You know, like, so he built up his career, and I think I think he understands that. And if you look at like a lot of his tweets, I mean, he basically is calling like Eminem is his hero. You know, so he's battling his hero right now.
And
so
he does say that on the disc.
yeah, I mean, and so the thing that sucks is like, there's really a no-win situation for Machine Gun Kelly because one thing is you're not going to out-rap Eminem. There's nobody. There's maybe only like maybe 1 to 2, maybe 3 people in hip hop history that I can think of that can out-rap Eminem. Like, it's impossible. Like, the dude is just amazing.
I don't think it's a question about rapping M. It's the question is whether he has, because with rap battles you have to have some credible information to go at the person. Like the majority of MGK's diss was saying that you're old.
Right.
We know that you can rap. You called up Diddy. You called up Jimmy. I didn't. You wanted me to.
Like, this whole battle.
It was.
This whole battle reminds me of the last battle in 8 Mile, where Eminem's basically like, "Yeah, this is me. This is me. This is me. What are you gonna say next?"
Exactly.
Like, yeah, I get
That's
it.
true. That's true.
Guess what? I'm 40 fucking years old. You're fucking in your 20s. Okay, we get it. Like, who the fuck cares? How's that? Like, that's why it's a no-win situation.
Yeah.
For both of them, because Eminem's like, it kind of goes back to boxing again, right? Like, when you have a boxer that you're supposed to beat and you beat him, you're like, what the fuck did you expect? I was gonna.
Yeah.
This dude can't. I think the best line I've ever heard is from Fast and Furious, is you don't get into the ring with Ali just because you think you can box. Like, just because you can rap doesn't mean you can go battle Eminem. Just because, and this goes back to even like in the 2000s when Nelly was trying to beef with KRS-One. You're not gonna win that battle.
Hell no.
Against the lyrical genius, you can't win. And that's, I think, the biggest. If you go back, everything Eminem has ever said, like the stuff that he said on this disc, doesn't even touch any of the shit that he said.
No, this was light. That's what I'm saying. That was
this
light.
is toned down.
Yeah,
like,
it was light.
If Eminem went back to like Eminem of the 99, 2000s.
When he was demented. And
Yeah,
just,
like, this dude wouldn't, like.
Yeah, he just didn't give a shit.
The only thing that can happen to Machine Gun Kelly right now is he'll get some sales, but his career is going to basically be down now because there's way more Eminem fans than there are MGK fans, which sucks.
You're right. I mean, and that's why I would agree with certain people that I feel like he was lying when he said that he had another diss for him, but he just put it. He didn't when he heard Eminem's. He claimed that when he heard Eminem's diss that he said, "Fuck it, it's not even worth it."
Yeah,
Because he couldn't come back with nothing better.
I mean, and that's the same thing if you look at like when Jay-Z went at Nas. Jay-Z comes out with Takeover, and then Nas hits him with Ether, and then Jay-Z put out Super Ugly, and I was like, it looks bad on Jay-Z. You're like, yo, that's what you put out? Like, Nas just dropped Ether on you, and you come out with Super Ugly? And I think Jay-Z is amazing, but I was like, oh, dog, you took the L on that one.
Exactly.
You was winning when Takeover, Ether bodied you.
And you just should have stayed bodied.
Just stay bodied, bro. Like, and I think, and that you could go back to so many different like battles, in the past, like when Ice Cube, when West Side Connection went at Common bodied them, and then they were like, all right, let's when you're going up against somebody who's a superior lyrical, and I'm not saying because Ice Cube was very lyrical. Let's not get that twisted. Ice Cube, but back then Ice Cube was just about that gangster rap.
Yeah.
And Cube only had one line. Common had a whole fucking song on
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? So that the battle wasn't fair, but you have to know when to be like, if I'm going to succeed more,
Yeah.
I need to shut the fuck up.
No, you're right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's good for us as fans to be like, oh, did you hear that? Oh, did you hear that? Oh, did you hear that? You know, the MC Shan versus KRS-One back and forth back in the days. That was amazing.
It was.
You know?
It was.
But at some point, you're just like, all right.
Well, MC Shaq didn't hold the torch to
No,
fucking
you
KRS.
can't. But I mean, MC Shan though is by all all purposes a very lyrical,
Very lyrical and talented.
cat. But
Oh yeah.
But when you're going against somebody when you're a deer going up against a lion, you got to know when to run away.
Yeah, you gotta pick your battles.
You know
You're
what I
right.
mean? Like, and picking your battle against a Hall of Fame. If there was a rap Hall of Fame, you're talking to you're going up against a rap Hall of Famer right now.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You know, that's like Muggsy Bogues guarding Jordan. You know, right now, like
David and Goliath.
David, yeah.
Except David ain't got no slingshot this time.
Right. I mean, so I felt bad for MGK because I really enjoy MGK's music. The kid he looks different, but he is a very lyrically talented kid. And I say kid because I'm older than him and I can say that. But the dude is, he's a man, but he's very talented. Like, I keep one of his songs every day. He has a song called Every Day. I keep that in my rotation on one of my playlists. Like, it's legit. He's a legit artist.
That's interesting because I was trying to, before this beef, I've only heard of him. I never heard of his music. And I was trying to dig deep. I was like, is this his best lyrical track? Because I didn't get too deep into his discography. I wish I did. I was trying to figure out where Eminem got the idea that he was a mumble rapper. Because
He's not a mumble rapper.
But that's what I'm saying. I was like, I don't see him mumble rapping, but I don't see him lyrically rapping the extent that he was doing in Rap Devil. And so that's why I was like I wasn't trying to compare him to Emma. I was trying to compare him to himself in terms of where he was at.
Right.
And I didn't. That's why I was really confused as where the idea for the fact that Eminem called him a mumble rapper didn't solidify me. I was like, that doesn't.
Yeah,
I don't see where that's coming from.
The thing is, MGK came out around the mumble rap time, so it was like he's naturally like ingrained in it as part of like just because that's
unfortunately,
era he came into the game in, and I'm just that's why like a lot of people who are like, oh, I never heard it. No, this kid isn't. Why is he doing this? And I'm like, you have to get the kid has some skills. I would go to the bank on that. Like as far as like. He's not on a J. Cole or Kendrick or Logic or Joey Badass like level of lyricism or anything like that, but the kid is like a second to third tier of that notch. I would say. Like,
okay, I'll give it that.
He would be in a top 15 conversation, I would say, of today's artists. Like as far as like the
as far as dude genre, I'll probably give him. As far as today's genre, I'll probably put him around top 10.
Yeah,
I would
like
probably
he's definitely got his niche into it. So I wouldn't dismiss him. His music is decent. He's a hungry kid that
he appeals to the mainstream audience. Yeah.
He was dating Amber Rose for a while. It's like,
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Man, I dated Amber Rose.
But here's the question: Did Eminem put the diss back on him just to have fun? And with it? Or
I think he was telling him to shut the fuck up.
No.
Yeah.
I honestly, because the reason why MGK came out with his diss was he had a line, I guess, on Kamikaze. I forgot what song it was. But once, I guess, MGK came out with him with a rap diss track, I think he felt like he had to put out at least one diss track, and that was that.
Well, I mean, the thing that MGK... growing up as an Eminem fan, there's one thing Eminem is very protective, over his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what, man? Even though he's the same age, or I think he's a little bit older than...
Yeah, he was a little older than Eminem's daughter.
Eminem's daughter wasn't of legal age to comment on.
Yeah.
So it's like, bro, if Eminem will go at a pop star for saying something about his family, what do you think he's going to do to you, man? He doesn't even know who you are.
Yeah, no,
You know
exactly.
what I mean? Like, bro... You have to be aware, and this goes back to you have to be aware of what you say before, like think before you talk. Is this a smart business decision?
Exactly.
For you?
Yeah. No.
Everything in the hip hop game is a business decision.
Yeah, now, especially now.
I mean, some people have that logic that you just said, but also think about it. Okay, this is a taboo. I should stay away from it and all, but it's gonna get me sales.
And that concludes another episode of Cigars and Hip Hop. Hip Hop. See you next time. Peace.